The average American retires at 65 and loses their health at 66. His name was Robert. For 38 years, Robert did everything right. He showed up early. He stayed late. He maxed his 401k every single year since he was 27. He drove the same car for 11 years. He said no to the vacation in Italy twice because the timing wasn't right. He said no to the lake house. He said yes to every Saturday morning at the office. He had a list, a real physical list, tucked in the top drawer of his desk of everything he was going to do when he finally retired. Machu Picchu, an Alaskan cruise with his wife, teaching his grandson to fish in Montana, learning to paint, sleeping in on Tuesdays for no reason at all. Robert retired at 65. He made it 14 months, not 14 months of the list, 14 months of retirement total, before a diagnosis changed everything. Before the body that had been running on stress and adrenaline and 3 hours of sleep for 4 decades finally sent the bill. The list is still in the drawer. Machu Picchu, the cruise, Montana, the painting, all of it, still there. The money is still in the account. And here's the part that will stay with you long after this video ends. Robert is not a tragedy. Robert is the average. I've spent years studying retirement, the numbers, the psychology, the behavioral science, the data that the financial industry never puts in their brochures. And what I found is that the conversation most of us are having about retirement is about 30 years out of date. We're asking the wrong questions. We're chasing the wrong numbers. And we're being silently guided toward a finish line that for most people arrives about 14 months too late. This video is the one I wish existed when I started figuring all of this out. This is everything: the data, the psychology, the strategy, and the one question nobody in the retirement industry wants you to ask. Let's go. The World Health Organization tracks 2 numbers for every country on Earth. The first one, you know, life expectancy, how long you'll live. The second one, almost nobody talks about it, and it's the one that should be driving every single financial decision you make. It's called healthy life expectancy, not how long you'll breathe, how long you'll actually live, with energy, with mobility, with the capacity to do the things you've been saving 40 years to do. A researcher named Jeff Nobbs took the WHO data and laid it out so anyone can read it. Let me walk you through it. Japan is #1 in the world. Average healthy life expectancy, 74.1 years. Singapore, 73.6. South Korea, 73.1. Switzerland, 72.5. Spain, France, Iceland, Italy, all above 71.5. Now, I want you to guess where the United States lands on this list. We are the wealthiest nation in human history. We spend more per capita on healthcare than any country on earth. We have the best hospitals, the best technology, the best medical research. 66.1. That's where America sits. The average American loses meaningful health, the ability to travel freely, to hike, to play with grandchildren without pain at 66 years old. And the average American retires at 65. Do the math with me. 66.1 minus 65 equals 13 months. 13 months. That is the average window between when most Americans retire and when their health begins to meaningfully decline. 13 months to do the list. 13 months for Machu Picchu. 13 months of Montana mornings and Italian evenings, and sleeping in on Tuesdays. Now, these are averages, not a sentence, not a prophecy. Some people retire at 65 and stay vibrant until 85. Those people exist. But the data tells us they are not the norm. There's one more number I need you to sit with. When you turn 60, most of us have fewer than 1,000 weeks of healthy, active life remaining. 1,000 weeks sounds like a lot. It isn't. That's less than 20 years. And it will move faster than any 20 years of your life ever has. The question is not just, when will you retire? The question is, will you still be healthy enough to live the retirement you've been building toward? There is a number living inside your head right now. Maybe it's $2 million. Maybe it's 3. Maybe it's some figure that someone told you once. A financial advisor, a magazine article, a podcast. And it lodged itself in your brain like a splinter. And that number has been haunting you because no matter how close you get, the goalpost seems to move. You hit one target and immediately recalibrate to a higher one. The horizon keeps retreating. I want to tell you something that a growing body of research has been quietly proving for years. That one big number is a lie, not a malicious lie, not a conspiracy, but a fundamental mistake that is keeping millions of people working years longer than they actually need to. When you lump retirement into a single savings target, you're treating two completely different financial problems as if they're the same problem. They're not. Problem 1, the gap. This is what your portfolio actually needs to cover each year in retirement, after other income sources like Social Security kick in. A couple with strong earning histories can reasonably expect $50,000 to $70,000 per year combined in Social Security by their late 60s. If your lifestyle costs $100,000, your portfolio is only filling a gap of $30,000 to $50,000. At a 5% withdrawal rate, that's $600,000 to $1 million, not the $2.5 million the industry trained you to chase. Problem 2, the bridge. This is the money you need to cover the years before Social Security starts. If you retire at 55 and claim at 67, you have 12 years where your portfolio does the heavy lifting. A couple spending $100,000 a year needs roughly $1 to $1.2 million in accessible accounts to cover that window. And here's the part most planners miss completely. That bridge money doesn't have to last 30 years. It has to last 12. It can be drawn down completely by design, without touching the long-term portfolio that's compounding in the background. When you stop asking, do I have enough for retirement? And start asking, do I have enough in the right buckets to cover the gap in the bridge? The math changes entirely. One is a wall. The other is a door. Now, having the right total amount means nothing if the money is locked in the wrong place. But there are 4 tools to unlock it. A taxable brokerage account. No age restrictions, no penalties. The rule of 55. Leave your employer the year you turn 55, and you can access that 401k penalty-free. 72 distributions. Calculated penalty-free withdrawals from an IRA before 59 and a half. And Roth conversions. The most powerful tax tool most Americans have never used strategically. Used together, these 4 tools build what I call the income bridge, a seamless, penalty-free cash flow that makes early retirement financially identical to having a paycheck. The people who retired calm built this bridge 12 to 24 months before their last day of work. The people who retired stressed tried to figure it out after. Build the bridge before you need it. I want to talk to the people who have already hit their number. You've saved. You've invested. You've been patient for decades. By every objective measure, you're ready. And yet, you haven't pulled the trigger. The trip you've been talking about for years? Not booked. The thing with the grandchildren, not done. Every time you sit down to make the decision, something in your chest tightens and your hand hesitates, and you say, maybe next year. If this is you, I need you to hear this clearly. You don't have a money problem. You have a permission problem. And the reason standard financial advice hasn't fixed it is that you're not fighting a spreadsheet. You're fighting something far older and far more powerful than logic. Your nervous system was built for scarcity. For most of human history, the difference between saving and spending wasn't comfort. It was survival. Keep the grain. Store the buffer. Don't eat the seed corn. The winter will be long. The winter will be long. That machinery is still running inside you right now. It doesn't know you have a pension. It doesn't know about compound interest. It knows what your ancestors knew. More in storage means safe. Less means danger. So every time you consider spending from the portfolio, a very old part of your brain fires and says, no, keep it. Not because it calculated anything, because it was literally wired to keep you alive through a winter that isn't coming. And then you layered 40 years of reinforcement on top of that primal wiring. The savings account in your 20s, the mortgage payoff, the maxed 401k, the frugal decades. Every single one of those moments trained the same neural pathway deeper and faster. Accumulation is virtue, spending is danger. By the time you reach your 60s, the voice that says, don't touch the pot, doesn't feel like a conditioned reflex. It feels like your own wisdom. It feels like you. It isn't. And then there's a third layer. Nobel Prize-winning research by Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky showed that losses feel approximately twice as painful as equivalent gains feel good. Every dollar you spend from your portfolio is processed by your brain as a loss, at double the emotional weight of the pleasure that dollar is about to buy. You want the vacation. You also don't want to lose $5,000. And the don't lose side of that equation is biologically wired to be louder. No wonder the hand hesitates. Now let me name 5 specific mental traps that keep people from spending, because naming them is the first step to breaking them. Trap 1, the scoreboard. 40 years of watching the number grow trained you to treat it as a score. Any spend feels like a loss on the leaderboard. The portfolio stopped being a tool and became a trophy. Trap 2, the moving goalpost. You pick a number, hit it, then quietly revise it upward. The target drifts, and because you're the one moving it, you never notice. Safety stopped being arithmetic. It became an internal state that arithmetic can never satisfy. Trap 3, identity attachment. For high achievers, the portfolio is a monument to 40 years of discipline. Spending from it doesn't feel like spending. It feels like dismantling your own identity. Trap 4, the endowment effect. What we already own, we overvalue. Every dollar in the retirement account is psychologically worth more than an identical dollar you'd earn tomorrow. Trap 5, avoidance dressed as virtue. I'm saving it for the kids. For some people, this is a genuine, considered position. For others, it's behavioral avoidance wearing a morally acceptable hat. Leaving an inheritance after you die requires no decisions, no planning, no confronting the fact that your time is finite and there are things you've wanted that you haven't let yourself have. Inheritance by default is not generosity, it's avoidance. Your brain, your culture, 40 years of your own habits, and an industry commercially aligned with your continued inaction, all pulling in the same direction, toward the portfolio, away from the life. You're not failing at this. You're being acted on by something you can barely see. The first step is seeing it. We spend enormous amounts of time in retirement conversations talking about the risk of spending too much, running out of money, outliving your savings. Almost no one talks about the opposite risk, and for most of the people watching this, the careful ones, the disciplined ones, the people who saved and invested and were patient, the risk of spending too little is already materializing. You just can't see it because the losses are invisible. There's no account statement for the trips you didn't take, no quarterly report for the memories you didn't make, no red number for the summer your grandchildren stopped wanting to go on family vacations because they'd rather be with their friends. Let me make the invisible visible. 6 specific costs of waiting. Cost 1, the health window that quietly closes. You have a window right now where you have money, health, and time simultaneously. For most people, that window runs from your late 50s to your mid-70s. 12 to 20 years, if you're fortunate. After that, the menu of what you can physically do begins to shrink. Not because the money runs out, because the knees go, the back goes, the stamina goes. The friend who was going to come with you now has a hip replacement. Every year of that window you don't use is a year you cannot retrieve. You can earn money back. You cannot earn the knee back. Cost 2, the family moments that age out. Your grandchild is 5 years old exactly once, 8 once, 14 once. The version of them who thinks you're the most interesting person in the world has a shelf life. The grandparents who understand this deploy early. They book the family trip when the kids are 8, not 18. The ones who don't rationalize into next year, and then look up one afternoon and the grandchildren are 17 and nobody wants a family vacation anymore. The portfolio is $40,000 larger, and they carry that trade quietly for the rest of their lives. Cost 3, the help that arrives too late. The version of financial help that genuinely changes a life almost always arrives early. The down payment on a house at 30 shapes which neighborhood your child raises their family in for the next 30 years. The safety net that lets them take a career risk at 34. Those moments have a compounding effect on someone's life that money arriving through probate at 56 simply cannot replicate. Deferred generosity is not generosity with interest. It's generosity at a discount. Cost 4, the marriage that quietly narrowed. Research on marriages in retirement shows that experiences, travel, shared projects, novelty, adventure are not a luxury. They're oxygen. They're what keeps a long marriage alive well into its 5th and 6th decade. When couples stay home every weekend because we have everything we need, things feel fine for a while. And then, quietly, they don't. The world shrinks. The conversation narrows. 2 people who live in the same house rather than 2 people who share an adventure. You saved for decades, so you'd finally have time together. If you then ration every experience meant to fill that time, you've purchased yourselves a well-funded loneliness. Cost 5, the version of yourself that never got built. There's a version of you inside your head, the one who finally learned to paint, who took the Italian class, who got physically fit, who said yes instead of we'll see, who was generous, openly, unself-consciously generous with money and time and presence. That version requires investment, not just time, money. Every year you don't spend on that version is another year that version doesn't exist. And at some point, without ceremony, without any formal announcement, the window in which that version of you could still be built closes. Cost 6, the extra years of cortisol you can never get back. Every year you work beyond the point you're ready to retire. You're paying for that extra cushion in the only currency that has no market, your physical capacity in your 60s. The 55-year-old who exits a high-stress career and spends the next decade sleeping 8 hours, training 4 days a week, cooking real food, doesn't just feel better at 65. They arrive at 65 with a measurably different body, a different metabolic profile, a different cognitive baseline. The 62-year-old who stayed 7 extra years running on cortisol and 6 hours of sleep starts retirement from a fundamentally worse position. And from that baseline, the same 20 years of retirement will go very differently. $1 million in additional savings cannot restore the knees, the sleep, the lung capacity, or the energy that you spent acquiring it. The trade is real, and it is not symmetric. Everything up to this point has been the diagnosis. Here's the prescription. The people who retire 5 to 10 years earlier than their peers with similar incomes and similar savings are not luckier. The difference comes down to 5 specific behaviors, and most of them have nothing to do with the balance in their accounts. Behavior 1, replace the one big number with 2 specific ones. Stop paralyzing yourself with a single mountain-sized target, the gap number and the bridge number. Break it into 2 solvable problems and solve them independently. The people who did this consistently described the same moment. I realized I was actually much closer than I thought. Behavior 2, build the income bridge before you need it. The early retirees who transitioned smoothly built their bridge 12 to 24 months before their last day of work. Taxable accounts funded, Rule of 55 eligibility confirmed, Roth conversions sized. Day 1 of retirement was calm because every decision was already made. The people who tried to figure it out after they left made reactive decisions in an emotionally charged window, withdrawing at the worst tax rates, missing conversion windows, defaulting to expensive insurance instead of affordable marketplace plans. Build the bridge before you cross it. Behavior 3, treat early retirement as the tax opportunity it actually is. From the day you stop earning W-2 income to the day required minimum distributions hit, you sit in the lowest tax brackets you will ever see again. This is the Roth conversion window. Every year, you convert traditional IRA money to Roth at 10 to 22%. Instead of letting the government force withdrawals at 24 to 32% later, you are making the highest return move in your entire financial plan. A decade of strategic conversions can shift hundreds of thousands of dollars out of future taxation permanently. Early retirement isn't just a lifestyle choice. For the prepared, it's a financial upgrade. Behavior 4, treat health as a financial asset, because it is. The most successful early retirees don't treat health as a wellness hobby. They treat it as the highest leverage financial decision in the entire plan. Strength training, sleep, cardiovascular fitness, real food, real recovery. Because every other decision in your retirement plan depends on being healthy enough to execute it. A bigger portfolio doesn't expand your health window. The decisions you make in your 50s do. Behavior 5, stress test the plan before you pull the trigger. Every successful early retiree ran their plan against worst-case scenarios before giving notice. What if the market drops 30% in year 1? What if inflation runs at 5% for 5 consecutive years? What if one partner needs long-term care? The plan had to survive every scenario before they committed. They built a cash reserve covering 18 to 24 months of spending, so they would never be forced to sell investments during a downturn. The people who stress-tested retired calm. The people who didn't spend year 1 of retirement more anxious than their last 30 years of work. Calm people make better decisions than scared people. Preparation is the only real source of confidence. I want you to try something. Think about the version of you that makes it to 92. You had a good long life. The obituary is kind. The family is present, and whoever inherits your estate receives substantially more money than you had the day you retired. Now ask the hard question. What did that 92-year-old you not do to leave that big number behind? Which trips? Which mornings in Montana? Which week on the beach with the grandkids before they were too old to want to come? Which version of yourself? The one who painted, who traveled, who said yes, who was fully and unself-consciously alive? Which version of that person didn't get to exist? I'm not asking to be cruel. I'm asking because the honest answer for most people I've spoken to is a lot. And they didn't realize it at the time because the not doing is always quiet. The not doing is always invisible. The not doing is what the entire industry called prudent. Bill Bengen invented the 4% rule. He published research showing the average retiree using his own rule died with more than 5 times their starting portfolio. 5 times. Not a buffer, a monument to experiences never had, to mornings never taken, to a list left in a drawer. Nobody at your funeral is going to admire the balance of your retirement account. They will remember whether you showed up, whether you were generous, whether you did the trip, whether you laughed loudly in a restaurant on a Tuesday, whether you actually lived. The data has joined the case. Your health window has joined the case. Your family has joined the case, even if they haven't said it out loud. The only thing still holding you back is 40 years of wiring that was installed one careful, disciplined, responsible decision at a time. You are not a scoreboard. You are a life. And the life is meant to be lived, not preserved in an account, accumulating interest, waiting for a permission slip that no one is coming to hand you. So here it is. This is your permission slip. The money is yours. You built it. Every dollar of it was bought with your time, your actual finite, irreplaceable time. The best use of it is not to maximize what gets left behind. It's to maximize what gets lived. Start with one thing, one uncomfortable, slightly extravagant, completely unnecessary thing. Book it. Buy it. Do it. Pay attention to what happens. The account survives. The sky doesn't fall. And something in your nervous system, something that has been running a program written for a scarcity that no longer exists, starts slowly to update. That's how it begins. One decision. 1 week, one trip. Then another. We got this.